Mr. Boissonnault, who's Randy?
Mr. Barrett, could you clarify your question?
There are a series of text messages from your discredited business partner, Mr. Anderson. Those messages refer to Randy. That's you, right?
It is not. And in fact, as I indicated in my opening statement, I've turned over my phone records to the Ethics Commissioner and now to this committee. And as you will see, they show none of the text messages that have been reported on by Global News. The messages that I turned over were across all platforms, Mr. Barrett, across all the telephones that I have. And the Commissioner of Ethics has come to the conclusion that I am not that Randy.
Where were you on September the 6th?
So let's walk through a timeline which I think will be helpful.
You had the same amount of time to answer
it's up to the chair to decide.
that
Chair,
I asked.
how are you managing time? Do I get to do fulsome answers?
Similarly to what how we managed it last time, the time that the question is asked is the time you will have to respond. Mr. Barrett asked you where you were on September 6th. Answer the question.
2022.
I was in Edmonton and I traveled to Vancouver in the morning.
Were you at the Liberal Cabinet Retreat?
I arrived in the morning, Vancouver time. The Cabinet Retreat started in the evening of September 6th.
Okay. And you spoke on the phone that day to your business partner, Stephen Anderson, correct?
Mr. Chair, I have a timeline that I would like to share with this committee that will answer Mr. Barrett's question fully. There was a one-minute phone call
it's a yes
that
or no
followed
question.
a text that I received from Pure Relator asking for an account to be settled. I texted Mr. Anderson. He called me back. We had a one-minute phone call about this issue, and then I sent the text to him. I didn't.
So you called and texted Mr. Anderson that day, yes or no?
I did not call him. He called me.
Okay.
I texted him to let him know
you
that I had an account.
spoke to him on the telephone that day?
Go ahead, Mr. Barrett.
Okay. So we've established that you spoke to him on the phone and you exchanged text messages with him on the date of September 6th. So I want to refer you to a statement from your staff in regard to this matter that said that it wouldn't have been possible on the 8th of September because you were at a cabinet retreat in Vancouver and had no access to any electronic devices on the 8th. But you were also at a cabinet retreat on the 6th of September of 2022. And of course you had access to your devices that day, as you did on the 8th. Is that not true?
That is not true. During the 7th and 8th, during cabinet meetings during the day, our devices are locked up in lockboxes. On the 6th, there were no cabinet meetings during the day. And I can tell you the time, Mr. Barrett. The time that I got the voicemail to transcription was 11:28 a.m.
On the 6th?
The conversation with Mr. Anderson took place at 11:29 and lasted for 1 minute.
Please.
On the 6th and the 8th, did you have access to electronic devices during the day at all?
On the 7th or the 8th?
On the 6th or the 8th, did you at any time have access to your electronic devices, yes or no?
I had access to my electronic devices when I was not in confidential cabinet meetings, yes.
So you're in Vancouver on the phone with your discredited business partner, Stephen Anderson. We have text messages from Mr. Anderson to a client that your company ripped off. And those text messages say, I have Randy and them I need to update, asking, as West Coast is closing in 7 minutes, you were on the West Coast, and Randy is in Vancouver. Well, you're Randy that was on the West Coast in Vancouver. Isn't that right?
So, Mr. Barrett, let me refer you to the Commissioner of Ethics letter from June 25th, when he stated very clearly, other than the name Randy being used in text messages from Mr. Anderson to Malvina Gowie, messages with according to the published excerpts were neither addressed nor copied to you. I do not have any information before me to support the allegation that you were involved in managing or operating GHI.
So you expect Canadians to believe that the Randy referred to in these texts 9 times is anyone else but you, that the Randy who is in Vancouver and who needs to be updated on the money transfer is anyone else but you, and you admit to speaking to your business partner on the phone. Why don't you just admit that you're the Randy that he's talking about?
So the person in question was no longer my business partner. I was simply a shareholder of the company. I had no operational role in that company. And because Pure Relator was looking to settle an account, they had my number still in their logbook. They reached out to me. They could not contact GHI. I informed Mr. Anderson of that fact. He called me. I informed him that I would send him the text, which I did, and the conversation ended there.
So we
and
have
the
a
texts
year-
are with the
So we have
Commissioner
a
and with this
year
committee.
after you claim to have been done being involved in the operations of this business. You're expecting us to believe that you are dealing with your business partner on accounts payable, but you're not dealing with him on accounts receivable. That, of course, is far too incredible for anyone to believe. Have you ever been given money from Mr. Anderson since 2021 to either from his personal account, from his personal bank accounts, or from any bank accounts of people that he is connected with? Because, Minister, I've got to say, where there's smoke, there's fire.
No, Mr. Barrett, you're simply mistaken. Pure Later reached out to me because they had my number on an old
Received the
logbook.
money. The question is about the money. Have you
You
received
had
money?
several questions in your statement, and you had a long time. So am I able to answer with the time that he used, Mr. Chair?
I'm going to give you a couple of extra seconds. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. So, look, I was very clear that I earn no income from GHI after I stopped working for the company when I was elected. There was one end of or a wrap-up for 2021 payment that came to me to wrap up the 2021 business, but those monies came from GHI.
Thank you. Ms. Shanahan.